Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Marvel Mondays Initiative. Today's topic is, of course, our retro review of Iron Man. So strap in because we've got quite a show for you today. Before we get into it, if you're watching this on Twitch, feel free to give us a sub to help support us and see more great content. Also, check out the website, thepenultimateconquest.com, to see our VODs and even see the schedule for the rest of the month. We have a bit of I'll save it for housekeeping. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ruben, the director of the Penultimate Conquest. Today, I am joined by my two co-hosts, Mr. Movie Reviewer himself, Christian Macias. Christian, how you doing?
I hate that we're calling these retro reviews because that makes me feel way older than I should feel.
Well,
But
listen,
I'm doing fine.
I don't know what to tell you. I could change it and just not put retro reviews. Does that
No,
no better?
I'll I'll I'll, I'll endure.
Okay. And Mr. Daddy to be, Eric, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Just uh
Long time no see.
yeah, it's been a sec since been on. A few things have happened.
Yeah.
Turned 30 since I last was on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, whoop whoop. Um, Also make sure you're taking care of yourselves, boys and girls.
That's right.
Yeah, make sure you're eating your veggies, drinking your vitamins, do all that stuff.
They're pronounced vitamins.
Vitamins, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Drink
Okay.
water.
Yeah.
Did you say that one yet?
Drink a lot of water.
Yes, drink a lot of H2O.
Yeah. Let's do some housekeeping. Community solo streams are continuing tonight as Tessa continues. Oh no, she's actually not
No.
continuing. No, she's
No.
starting a new quest.
Mhm.
Resident Evil 8 Village.
Yeah.
Sorry, Resident Evil
Woo.
Village.
Our channel stream of Resident Evil 8 Village.
That's right.
Should be good. That game, a little hot right now.
Yeah. Really?
Oh,
I heard it's
oh,
a pretty big indie.
I would say a little too hot. There's a little too many spoilers on the timeline for my taste, but
I'm sorry.
I
to hear that.
digress.
I'm sorry to hear that. I will also be sprinkling in some Near Replicant this week as well. I know last week I did none whatsoever, but that's because I had to change schedules at work and my sleep schedule has been pretty off. So, just a heads up, we are reviewing Mortal Kombat tomorrow on the Cross Media Show. So, check that out. Be prepared to check that out. We
Please
also
do.
did.
So make sure you get over here. for our
That was
review.
really good, Christian. Well done. Well done. We also did our season 1 review of Invincible last week with Anthony, Ryan, Saj, and Richie. So feel free to check that out. Let's just.
I do have one thing before you go.
What's up?
Before we start, just what else is going on. So Tessa bought me a book, and let me tell you why we got this book, because it's called, I forget what it's called, but someone says it's What If Lord of the Rings was directed by Kurosawa. I'm like, oh my God, I want that right now.
Ooh, that sounds
So
good.
I'm very ready to start reading this book. I forget what the title is, but that one line sold me on it.
That's pretty cool. That sounds cool.
That
Keep
does
us
sound
updated.
pretty good. Even if I don't like books, that's a story for another time. So a little trailer dropped today, and Christian, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do this to you.
No, this is fun.
Okay, good. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and
That's the title?
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
that's
I prefer that over Venom 2. I'm glad that we have moved away kind of from sequels that just have a number at the end of them. I like it when there's a little subtitle.
yeah, but I have a feeling I know this is gonna happen. Someone's gonna say, "Let there be carnage" in this movie, and it's just
Oh,
gonna drive
God.
me the fucking nuts. I hate when movies put the title of the movie in the movie. Don't do that. Stop doing that.
You mean you don't like it in Captain America: The Winter Soldier when
That's
they keep
different.
saying the Winter
That's
Soldier?
different. It's a title for a reason because yes, it's two characters in the movie. I'm not saying don't call a movie Venom Let There Be Carnage and somebody in the movie saying Venom Let There Be Carnage. You know,
It-
like
I-
Just
It's like in Captain America 2 when they were all at the airport and they said, "Let there be civil war," and they started fighting.
Stop. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Ultron, they're like, Avengers, we have entered the age of Ultron.
No.
Let's do it. Kevin Feige.
It's gonna be like
use it.
let me give you another example. If Doctor Strange, I hear it's Doctor Strange.
We're in the
He goes,
multiverse of
Multiverse.
I'm gonna flip the fuck out, okay? I will flip the fuck out. All right? And not in a good way. But
I
also
could do this all day.
I'm kind of excited for Doctor Strange too. So Eric, what are your thoughts on this trailer?
As someone who likes Spider-Man, you know, the Spider-Man stuff is my favorite superhero stuff. Like,
What does
I
this
am
have to do with
excited.
Spider-Man?
It's Venom and Carnage, okay?
What does this have to
So
do with Spider-Man?
it's because it's. Will you let me talk,
Okay. All right.
Ruben?
My apologies.
Jeez.
My apologies.
So obviously, Venom and Carnage are so entwined with Spider-Verse, and you know they had the stuff today. Today where Andy Serkis, I think, said this Venom and this Carnage don't know of Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine. Because it's weird because like that's two of Spider-Man's biggest villains, and it sucks that Spider-Man probably won't be in this. So as someone who likes symbiote stuff, like it really did look like Carnage. Like I gotta give him that. There was like the cool imagery of Carnage in front of like the stained glass. I thought that was neat. I hope the movie's rated R, so you show like Carnage, you know, eating people, you know, because Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer. So show him being really violent because that makes Carnage so great. Is because he's a psychopath.
Right.
There's no there's no redeeming factor like there is with Eddie Brock where he's like a decent person. But like Cletus is a psychopath, so it's kind of like the super soldier serum. What does the symbiote bring out in that person? So I'll see it, and I know I said on the chat, but after that trailer, I'm excited more to see Morbius than I am this Venom trailer.
That's insane.
Honestly, I just want to see Morbius just to see how it connects.
Well, I know that Matt Smith is going to be the bad guy, so I'm really excited about that.
Why would you spoil that for me?
That is in the casting, Ruben.
Yeah, but he was only shown in the trailer like just once. Him walking like a.
There's a Morbius trailer?
Yeah. Are you serious? You seriously haven't watched
it?
it?
It came out like I think 2 months before the U.S. shut down due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's been out for like a year and a half, almost a year and a half.
I've literally been saying for almost a year and a half, how does Morbius connect into the MCU?
Huh.
Yeah.
No. It's wild.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wild is one word to use, but yeah. I don't know. I wish they just stopped doing this. Just stop.
This Sony universe of Marvel
Sony's
characters.
Sony Villainverse. How about that one? That's what we're calling
That's
it.
fine. Like, keep making Spider-Verse, Sony. Please keep doing that.
Right, but it's like my fear is that they're inevitably just going to be like, all right, well, we have a successful movie franchise. We don't really need the MCU, so we're gonna take back Spider-Man.
Yeah, because Morbius and Venom are so much more successful than the MCU.
Apparently, there's something about Jared Leto that drives people wild.
He's a handsome man. I looked into his eyes once.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I looked into his eyes once. It's just
in person.
It's a handsome man. Yes, I went to a 30 Seconds to Mars concert, and it's like he was.
That's
he
right.
Was
I
singing,
forgot he was
doing acoustic, The Kill, and then I look over in his direction, and then he looks in my direction. I'm like, I'm stuck.
Oh, all right.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I just stop, please, Sony. I beg of you. You know, just keep focus all that money that you're pouring into these movies. Just put it back into PS5s. You know, just put it back.
Those are
PS5s.
different divisions.
Listen, but it's the same family, okay? And if
Touché.
anything, wait, hold on. Let me finish this thought. If the Fast and Furious movies have taught me anything, it's all about family. Is that right? I don't know how that's. I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie, so
what?
Yeah. No.
Cross media show. We're gonna have a new thing coming soon. Ruben watched the Fast and Furious.
Like, I
need
feel
to.
like we
Again.
have to do the Alien franchise first, you know?
Oh God, no! Like, like you got 2 great Alien movies, and then the rest are not so great.
Okay.
So,
What about the Predator
I
stuff?
the Predator. You have a really good Predator movie.
Wait,
You
wait.
have
What are the 2
Like-
great Alien movies? I missed
Alien
one
and
of them.
Aliens.
But Prometheus and Covenant are also really cool.
Yes,
Even though they're not, like,
Prometheus is
good.
really, really cool. I'd never seen Covenant though.
I think this is where Christian and I have like a little like difference of opinion. I hated Covenant so freaking much. Prometheus was cool. I like Prometheus a lot. Covenant, I hated. It just
Mhm.
It introduced me to Michael
Fassbender.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, you need to watch Fast and Furious movies. Like,
No, I don't. I
I
feel
watch
like
Mission Impossible movies.
I've watched all the Mission
Yeah!
Impossible movies. Those are actually good
Okay,
movies.
good.
But
I,
like,
I saw the stunt. Apparently, he like he drives a motorbike off a cliff.
oh,
I saw that in like the
I'm
new
so
article. So I'm like, yeah,
Excited. I'm so excited. I just feel like if I sit down and watch the Fast and Furious movies, I'm literally gonna get dumber by the second.
No, dude, they're good.
I don't know about that.
Coming from me, they're good.
I
they're
don't know
really
how to
great.
take
They're
this.
really great. They're really great action movies.
Okay.
Well, the 5, 6, and 7 are fantastic.
All right.
All the
Okay,
other
good.
ones are
I just
good
like
to
it's
okay.
very
Tokyo Drift, the
unbelievable
best.
at how they like transform into what they are now, you know?
Well,
You say this as an outsider. You have to watch the movies.
yeah.
I just don't
I
don't
was
believe them
trepidatious.
to be
I was trepidatious like you, Ruben, and then I started watching them, and then I got to Fast 5, and I was
they're
like,
going
"Holy
to
crap!
space. Like I don't understand how
I
that's
want
even,
that so much."
how is that even possible? My
Ruben,
Mission
Ruben,
how is
Impossible
going
I
to space
get.
possible?
Mission Impossible I get because it's Mission Impossible. Tom
You
Cruise
get
can
on a
literally
rocket.
do
You're in space.
No, but my question is, how are they so important to the government of the world?
Watch the fucking movies.
I don't-
You will find
All
out.
right, all right.
they're
We're
fun movies,
getting,
man.
we're getting a bit off topic here. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry to tell you this, guys. It's just not gonna happen.
Did you watch Thor: The Dark World?
I did,
And
unfortunately.
you could watch the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, but there's like 9 of them, so
There's like almost 30 MCU movies.
there's
Yeah.
it's different because those are actually really good movies.
I'm
Besides
telling you,
Thor and
man.
Thor: Dark World.
Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6,
Fast
and
5
Furious
is
7 are
good.
great.
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see.
It's been a long
Fast-
road.
Is Fast 5 the one with that airplane strip?
That's 6. You know, the longest airplane strip or airport strip ever known to man.
6 is good, man.
6 is really good.
Anyway, we're getting
It's got the guy Sub-Zero, Ruben. It's Sub-Zero's in it. The guy who played Sub-Zero, he's in it. He's really good.
okay. All right. It's not really steering me into me wanting to watch this movie.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's driving you crazy.
Is it?
You get it? Driving you crazy.
Oh, I actually did not even connect the two. Oh boy.
Yes, Ruben.
Venom. There Be
Marvel.
Carnage. Just,
Venom?
Yeah.
just stop. Okay, we're going back to that. Just stop. Okay, Sony, focus on PS5s. That's all you have to do. All right.
Let there be carnage.
No. Focus on PS5s and Spider-Verse. That's it. Animated
Or-
Spider-Man movies. You got that? Animated. I'll say it one more time for effect. Hold on. Wait. Animated. All right? Anyway.
Okay. Oh, you need to de-hance that, buddy. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Dehance.
D-hands.
Iron Man 1. What did
Mhm.
we think about this movie?
When did it come out, Ruben?
Oh, hold on. Yeah.
All right. Iron Man
You gotta
1.
give us some. You gotta give us some deets, Ruben.
I-
You gotta.
I can do this part. I got
Okay.
open.
All right. Go ahead.
Iron Man 1, directed by Jon Favreau. Came out in 2008, starring, of course, Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yikes.
Oh, Paul Bettany as well.
Yeah.
He's the voice of Vision. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, Ruben.
I started thinking throughout this movie. Well, I'll get to that later.
How much was the budget again?
Oh,
this
none of
movie?
us have that. None of us have that right handy.
I can tell you right now.
69 million.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
No, I don't know. I didn't actually look.
The budget was 140 million US dollars.
And how much did it make?
Box office was 585.8 million dollars. So it was pretty much a hit.
This is wild because like back then, before we had like all the MCU like churn out money, like $500+ million. It's like wow,
Crazy.
that's wild.
Crazy.
I have a question for all of us, including
Yes.
myself. I'm going to ask myself. Did you guys see this? Where were you when you saw this in the movie theaters? Did you see it in the theaters?
I did see this in theaters.
All of us, yeah.
I was 17. I think my mom and I went to go watch it. So
I saw
Nice.
this with my dad, unfortunately. My dad has this,
Why?
my dad has this really gross habit of I believe, when did this come out? I'm sorry. What year?
May
2008.
2008.
Yeah, so it was getting a little hot here in New York, and my dad has this disgusting habit of, if there's not a person sitting in front of him, he puts his feet up on the chair. It's really gross. He was wearing sandals. I remember it.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah,
You can't do that with
yeah,
open toed.
You can't do
feet.
that.
Yeah.
No, he
Jeez.
took off the sandals.
Even worse.
Oh,
put-
that's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah,
That's awful.
yeah. It was really awful. It was really gross. Where were you,
would-
Christian?
I was 14. I saw this in a drive-through theater as part of a double feature. I started
Oh.
with Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Oh, I'm sorry.
which I enjoyed.
Okay.
Looking over, I could see Speed Racer, and I was like, man, that movie looks insane. And then I went to go see Iron Man after to close this out, and let me tell you, thought about it the whole night. I couldn't sleep.
Good movie?
This movie rips.
Yeah, it
Iron Man.
does. It really does.
Yeah.
Eric, you said
Hmm.
you were with your mom?
Yeah, I was with my mom. I remember, because I was always a superhero kid, but obviously we didn't know this was going to be some giant thing.
Right.
Like, oh, Iron Man, let's go see Iron Man, the latest, superhero movie. And so saw it, and then obviously, I thought it was great, had fun, and then, the end credit scene, it's like, oh my God, what?
I'm gonna be
So,
honest with
yeah.
you. I forgot there was an end credit scene.
It's like, it was like the biggest thing at the time, Ruben. Like
Yeah.
when we watched it, it was one of those like, oh my God, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
What? Do you remember?
Did you watch the scene, Ruben?
No, I
You
forgot. about
just
it.
watched it. You
I just watched it and I
today.
forgot it. Disney Plus was like, no, there's no. end
You can
credit
skip
scene
the
here."
No, you can skip. It pops up. It says skip credits, and it goes
No,
directly
just
to
finish the whole thing.
You should never skip credits, boys and girls. A lot of people work hard to make that movie.
If I'm at home, I'm rewatching this movie for like the 4th time.
All right, hold on. I'm watching this now. Give me a sec.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on.
I mean, we could just tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd actually probably be better.
So Tony comes home and he's like, Jarvis, and then Jarvis like, welcome home, and like Jarvis like shuts down, and then Nick Fury at the time is like, I am Iron Man. Do you think you're the only superhero in the world? You just become part of a bigger universe, Mr. Stark. You just don't know it yet.
Oh,
And then
God.
Tony's like, who are you? And then he goes, Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Oh God.
So, yeah.
Ah, what a fucking.
At the
just got
time,
chills.
it was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, insane.
So-
I have a question for you guys.
Mhm.
Somebody had
I am
pointed
still
out
single.
this. That the first couple of Marvel movies were made by Paramount Studios.
That was me. I said that.
I said somebody. I don't remember who it was. Christian
Well, they were
had
just-
pointed out that it was Paramount Studios that made this
Mhm.
film. How different do you think the MCU would have been if Paramount still made these movies?
Well, we would
Like,
have
if it
a
wasn't-
Paramount logo at the start of every one of them.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't just,
I
like,
think they'd be way different.
yeah, I think so too.
All 4 of them. What? Right? Iron Man, Thor,
I think
Avengers, maybe Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 3 was the last one that was
No,
Paramount.
there's no way. I think that's Disney. That sounds like Disney.
I'll tell
Let
you
me
right
check.
now. Hold on.
But the Paramount movies have a very different
Yeah. Okay.
style to them.
Yes, they do.
They feel different, and they have like way more sexual themes, and they go a bit darker than Disney allows in their other films.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I was wrong. So yeah, Avengers was the last one that was Paramount.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
This
crazy.
is this is the closest we get to seeing sex in a movie in the MCU. It's
Yeah.
Iron Man 1.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was like watching it today, and it's like, oh, that's right. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Insane. Um, I don't know. I picture a Paramount Studios MCU just like dark and gritty. They kill off Iron Man in the first Avengers movie. If it wasn't, well, no, not at the first Avengers movie. I would say like they would kill him off way before.
I genuinely think that we would not have all the creativeness that we would have in the MCU if
Right.
Paramount was still in it. Like,
Right.
I don't think we're getting Guardians.
Yeah.
I don't think we get Black Panther, honestly. I
Okay.
genuinely think that. I don't think we get Black Panther. I think that while at the beginning it was really good to have Paramount because they had that initial just flow of money coming into these movies just to get it started, I think like Marvel Studios taking over the reins for everything. I think that's
Feige.
yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's the important. So
Okay.
I forgot to include Captain America in there because Captain America was Paramount as well.
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, phase one, just like if you go back and look at phase one just feels so different.
Yeah.
Like Avengers 1 feels way different from anything else in the MCU.
I
Dude,
agree.
we'll talk about this when we get there, but I'm gonna send everyone the first Avengers trailer. One of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my life.
It was so weird. Like it had like that
The music.
God, yes, it had that one song in it. And I was like, "Ah, this is weird."
It's so bad. I love it.
Oh boy. So let's talk about this movie.
Okay.
Um, like I said before, I completely forgot about the story of this movie. Like I forgot about the Ten Rings being in this. I forgot. Well, it's mostly that. I just forgot the Ten Rings were in this movie. I forgot Terrence Howard was in this movie. I was like, what the fuck? Who the
Yeah,
fuck is this
there's
guy?
that scene when he's like, "Next time, baby," and there's like the Twitter
Yeah.
post. It's like it's funny
Yeah.
because there is no next time.
Right. And it's just like, you stupid idiot. You could have made so much money and you couldn't wait.
Wait, Tom Morello was in this movie.
Was he?
Yeah, he played a guard.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, you see a skinny Jon Favreau. It's insane.
Dude, yeah.
So weird. I saw that. I was like, is that CGI?
There's that shot of him like smoking a cigarette in front of his car, and it's like, man, this guy looks thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he started the MCU and he was like, I don't fucking need this anymore, you know?
I want to go make the Mandalorian now.
Yeah. Oh God. Jon Favreau, what a gift to society. I don't know. Like, what should we talk about?
Well, I mean,
The
I think
insanity of this?
I think it's important for us just to start about how um how grounded this movie is, first off.
Yeah.
Like, I think like, when we have all our crazy, fantastic tales now of the MCU, this one feels it's very much I like to talk about it. I think I read it in an interview once where they said like this is just the most expensive indie movie ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it really was. It's about one person. Like it's this literally story about this one person and the redemption he finds and tries to have some form of accountability. And I think like I've watched it 2 times. I've watched Iron Man 1 2 times over the last week and a half. And I get that vibe. I get like this feels very small scale. And I think that's what made it so good is that they focused on Tony. That's the important part. They don't Iron Man to it where they throw a bunch of stuff in at once. Like this movie is about Tony.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think. Go ahead, Christian.
I have to like credit this movie as one of the strongest openings in the MCU. Like still.
Yeah.
Like this is my first rewatch, and I'd say since 2017 when I first moved to Oregon. So what, 4 years now? And I forgot like how powerful it feels. And like how much of an impact with just that small scene of where he's talking to the soldier and he says no gang signs, but it's the peace sign. And like after like he dies, like Tony takes that with him. Like he throws the peace sign like later in that movie, and he keeps it with him for the rest of the MCU.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I don't want to see this on your MySpace page.
Yeah, oh, dude, the flip phones.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was for me was the weirdest part because I was like looking at his flip phone and I was like, "Well, where's the camera?" Like I didn't see any camera for like, to show
Yeah,
him. It was just weird. Um I think this movie deals with a lot in the short, what is it, 2 hours and 15 minutes that it is. Uh, we have a hostage situation, essentially him being held hostage for 3 months, breaking out, and also dealing with, like, if you put it out on paper, like, there's way too much happening in this movie, but also, like, there's not. And
hmm
that's what is so perfect about this movie. To me, honestly, I think it does it so well, and I just wish we could go back to that. Like
yeah. There's a
MC,
very distinct first and second and third act, and the third act I think is like the shortest of like all the MCU films.
right, right. But it's
Yeah,
just the MCU movies have. Don't get me wrong, while they're great, I just feel like we're missing that kind of magic now. Like especially the solo films, they aren't that complex. I guess. Like I can watch a Marvel movie right now, and I can pretty much tell you what the plot is going to be without even noticing, without
you
even
would say.
really seeing the movie.
Hmm.
But like Iron Man, I completely forgot the plot, and like I was surprised that there was so much in this movie. I don't know. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
I think that's why it works so well, though, is
Yeah,
because it's about Tony. Like Tony goes through this traumatic experience. He realizes that he's part of a system that has zero accountability. Looking at you, U.S. military stuff, zero accountability with stuff, and he just goes through that. He tries to be better. Um, Now, granted, that starts to like push some people away because everyone's like, "Whoa, you make weapons. What are you doing right now?" It's like I have my mind is clearer than he makes a weapon, although that's argued in Iron Man 2,
yeah,
uh, what it is. But it's I start to see this thing where it's just you see like after I've seen all the MCU movies and how Tony's arc is like in this one it's so true. Like he has all these emotions with him right now where it's just like, oh, I used to be such terrible, I need to be better. And this Iron Man suit really is a comfort to him.
yeah,
Like he puts on the suit and it's just like, okay, all right, I'm cool now. I'm fine. Like it's a part of him. Just like um, like argue that, Bruce Wayne is part of Batman,
Yeah.
like Iron Man is Tony Stark.
right.
Like that's who he is. Like and even just so in like the end, like I am Iron Man. That's me. Like there's no hiding for him. That's Tony Stark.
Yeah,
And so just I went if you go in the end game, if you go on end game and go on Disney Plus, they have like a 20-minute video like dedicated in it to Robert Downey Jr. and it just shows some of the first test footage for this movie. And it was just it's so good. Like this what a perfect casting. I forget
yeah.
what the casting director's name of the Marvel films are, but she is fantastic. Like what
This
how
is
good yeah.
this is why it's like essentially an expensive indie movie because Robert Downey Jr. before this like hadn't been working for a long time. He was in rehab. He was like almost like ostracized in Hollywood for like just
Seraphin
being
is
in bad shape mentally and physically
yeah,
and coming back to do this and like no one expected it to be good
yeah.
and it was awesome.
I actually
Seraphin,
went back. Actually went back and I read, like, I typed in like Robert Downey Jr. casting news Iron Man. I saw the casting news from like EW 2006, where it's like Robert Downey Jr. cast is new Marvel superhero, and it was like Robert Downey Jr. known for his films back in the 90s and stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, I remember there was a time where it's just like we were scared about this, like people were scared about this, and then now you can't imagine anyone else like I
Mhm.
know they'll never recast Tony Stark ever
yeah,
because no one's going to be able to do it. And then it was great because Robert was able to channel his own personal life experiences into this role,
yep,
and so
Mm-hmm.
that was because it's just it's so great. It's so great how a role was perfect for somebody. like it's hard to find other roles like in movies where someone literally the actor is literally perfect for the role.
Right.
Like they may be really good castings,
Nobody's as
like
perfect as this.
but like you could view that Christopher Reeve, you know, being Superman was very because he had that hopeful, like Christopher Reeve had like that hopeful mentality and that translated well to Superman. But I don't think anyone embodies Tony Stark essentially like Robert Downey Jr. in terms of the struggle he went through and he's holding himself accountable now. So
Yeah,
I thought that's what that translated really well.
I agree.
Yeah, Terrence Howard, born to play Rhodey. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
It's so weird watching it because I'm like, man, I miss Don Cheadle. I know
Yeah.
this is the first movie,
Dude,
but
I forget. Does anyone know why? What happened there?
He
'Cause
wanted
I
more
honestly, I
money.
can't remember.
He wanted more money.
No,
I think he got
yeah.
more money than Robert Downey Jr. in this movie.
I don't know
Which
about
makes
that.
sense at this. Which makes it at this point. I would believe that.
Really? You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, we just talked about it. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. hadn't been working in years.
Yeah, but like, is Terrence Howard really like that big
I
of a
mean, back in
name?
2008,
In 2000, yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm looking it up now.
I'm just glad we got Don Cheadle. I love that man.
so good. So yeah, like right before 2008, you know, he was in Crash, Hustle and Flow. Like those were two really big movies. And so like hey, we got Terrence Howard, you know that guy from that movie. So
Yeah.
So, yeah, actually, it's really weird. I'm gonna read this from Looper.com. With names like Gwyneth Paltrow, Jeff Bridges, and Paul Bettany, the cast of Iron Man is incredibly impressive. But before any of these actors joined the MCU, even before Robert Downey Jr. came aboard, Marvel had its sights set on Terrence Howard, and I don't know why. Yeah, it's like you said, back in the mid 2000s, Howard was a pretty big deal. Yeah. Just 3 years before.
Dude, we
According.
gotta get Terrence Howard. We gotta.
Yeah, and also you're right, Eric. According to the Wall Street Journal reporter Ben Fritz, Downey only earned 2.5 million, making Howard both the first actor signed for the film and the highest paid star in the entire movie. Reportedly making between 3.5 and 4.5 million dollars.
it's just like because like
Wow.
watching it, it's just like I like Terrence Howard was good in it. I just never got the connection, like because Don Cheadle and Robert Downey Jr. have much better chemistry. I think they're able. I actually feel as though like
Yeah.
they're brothers
Right.
in those movies. Whereas this one, it's just like, oh, it's my friend.
Yeah.
So
So it says here, when it came time for Iron Man 2, the creative team at Marvel wanted to cut way back on Howard's character. And that's when things started getting financial. According to Howard, he had a 3-film contract with Marvel, and they were supposed to pay him $8 million for the sequel. But thanks to behind the scenes drama, the studio supposedly offered him a measly $1 million instead, far less than he made for the first film. Some claim Howard had no clue that Marvel was angry about his behavior. It said he was here a hothead on the
also,
set.
oh no, $1 million. Whatever will I do?
Right. Um, and
You
Which
know
is
who
describe
what?
deserved more money? Oh, sorry.
no, no.
No, go ahead, please go ahead.
Yinsen.
Oh my God, yeah. And I was thinking about it when I was watching the movie. I was like, whatever happened to this guy? Like, why is he not Tony's right
I,
hand
I,
man?
I'm,
He
I,
dies.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. While I was watching the movie, I forgot that he dies.
Like I'm
Yeah.
glad kind of that the MCU doesn't have an Uncle Ben because this was the perfect Uncle Ben moment for Tony.
Yeah,
Like literally, don't waste your life,
but don't
please.
they,
Like,
Eric? Don't they?
no, I hope they don't. Like, I hope like this was a
Don't they?
perfect Uncle Ben thing, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like this is for Tony to accept responsibility for what he's done.
Yeah.
Like you are Tony Stark, you can make a change. So, and then Tony does that. So that's why I think it's perfect. Like this is literally the perfect Uncle Ben story for the MCU. So I'm glad. I hope, you know, there's no more Uncle Ben stories.
I'm telling
So
you, me and Johnny Watts already made it.
I
It's
I
in the works.
I hope John, please, please. I know you're busy with post production and you're starting getting stuff on Fantastic Four. Don't
Oh
worry
my
about
He's
it.
done
God.
with post production. It's all about Fantastic Four.
I mean, he stopped shooting already. He still has to, help edit the
Cut the-
No,
movie.
I just spoke to him last night. Post production
Oh
is
my
done
God,
already.
stop. Yeah, oh
Okay.
my God, stop.
It's nowhere near done.
You mentioned the Marvel Studios casting director, and it is
Mhm.
Sarah Finn. She
Fantastic work.
she assembled the entirety of the MCU. Kevin Feige shares how the casting director's vision has shaped cinema's biggest franchise. For all our success in all of the films, it comes down to the characters. So, Sarah Finn,
Yeah.
thank you so fucking much for the MCU. I
If
really
I'm being
appreciate
honest, oh God, and I hate to bring this up too. Why I feel that the MCU is, for me personally, a lot stronger than the DC is that they understand characters far more than the movies in the DC. The character moments just don't fit for me in the DC universe, in
I
the
th-
Marvel universe.
I
Hit after
th-
hit after hit.
I think it's hard to. I had said this the other day. Superman is a very hard character to portray. Like he is at the same time at both. How do I put this? He is perfect in every way, but also like he's perfect. He has no flaws. Like how do you make this character flaw? Like
Well, he's
there's
got an identity crisis. I know this is not a Superman show, but he has identity crisis with who he is sometimes.
but does he like he
Yeah,
is
I mean,
Yeah, he's not an Earthling, and he's not what are the
a
Kryptonian?
Kryptonian. Yeah, like he's
but he is though. I had
yeah, but like the problem is, I think Man of Steel does a good job with that, showing like, look,
I don't
like
think so.
obviously I was raised in Smallville, but I mean that's not where I'm from. It's more like a, what are you? Are you where you were born or where you were raised?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a thing also if we're gonna get with Ego, and when we talk about Guardians too, like Ego may have been Peter Quill's father, but he wasn't his daddy. It's one of those situations
Yeah,
like that where
Future spoilers. We're not there yet.
Superman has that identity crisis, and I think that if we're gonna bring this back to Marvel, like he says with what Christian just said, I think the quote, I can't remember who said it, was like, you go read Marvel comics to relate to characters, you go to DC Comics to be inspired.
Right.
Like, and Superman is this hopeful symbol. Like Batman is this symbol of like, hey, don't be afraid of the night. Batman's watching you. Whereas this one, it's like we have all been through those times probably where we have to be accountable for our actions. We have a bunch of great power thrown onto us. How do we respond to that situation? And that's why, like with this generation now, Peter Parker relates to so many people. Like, hey, you may have been the big nerdy kid. You struggle to pay rent. Everybody struggles to pay rent.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Christian's right there. Like the Marvel characters are much more relatable because of how human they seem. And you're right, it's really hard sometimes, Ruben, to humanize a god with Superman. But that's
Yeah.
why I think the Smallville stuff is the important part there. That's what humanizes him. Just being from middle America.
Okay.
Um, so but anyway, we've talked about enough DC here, Ruben.
Yeah,
This is
you're
the
right. You're
Marvel
right.
Mondays
Well, I'm sorry
initiative.
I didn't bring it up.
I have a small Marvel question.
Go ahead.
Mm.
Do we think we see TikTok in Spider-Man 3? Yeah.
TikTok
hope
the
not.
app?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Why not?
all right. No,
TikTok to
I was like,
use.
who's TikTok?
No, the app. Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
We don't. We got a
No.
Vine reference in Black Panther. Why not the TikTok app with these group of high school
I
students?
don't
You
know.
know?
I just don't see like the MCU wanting to, you know.
Okay, that's a different discussion. I'll stop.
Okay. All right.
Ned will be like, "Can you drink this carbonated water without burping?" And he does that. He can do that. Or they can dance the blinding lights. I'd be fine with that.
Oh man.
So
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I do want to bring up one thing. I think this is the movie that kind of starts the whole MCU trend of like, hey, let's let the villain just be a bigger version of the hero or a different version of the hero. And I think that's
Terrible
when,
trend.
yeah, it was a really bad trend. You have obviously this with pretty much all of the phase one probably except Thor, because Loki is not really like him at all. It's just that what works
Mhm.
there is it's a brother thing. That's why the villain works out so well there. But like phase one, and they still kind of deal with it, even all the way up to like, Black Panther and stuff. It's just the villain is just a similar version of the hero, and that's not very fun, I think. Um I remember watching this movie. I really don't like the Ironmonger fight at the end. I really don't.
Okay.
One, I think it's one a little short,
That's
like
why I
kind of
liked it.
I think I would have liked a little bit more, but I don't like the we have to fight a bigger, worse version. Like I think it would have been cool to take down Obadiah in like the courtroom or the boardroom. I think that would have been really neat, because that's what makes Obadiah so tenacious is because he's a board member of Stark
Yeah.
Enterprises. But no,
Mhm.
let's just give him a big suit and stuff like that. So I don't like the trend. I'm glad that there are some Marvel movies that don't do that trend. Specifically, Spider-Man movies. Obviously anything with Thanos in it. The Avengers movies, I think those shine, but it really showed here in the first phase, especially this one.
The only movie that trend actually worked in, I thought, was Black Panther, and that's only because it was less a fighting of each other and more a fighting of their ideals,
hmm
and it worked there.
I guess like for their like with the script and Black Panther, it worked there because they were so similar yet so different. I
Yep.
think I'm just talking mainly from the climactic fight.
Oh yeah,
Whereas,
yeah,
or it's just like, oh, I'm Black Panther, but a gold suit.
sure.
That's what it is. That's what I'm
Yeah.
going for right here. That's the trend, I think. But yeah, don't like that trend, Marvel.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Aside from that, though, did you guys like Obadiah Stane? Because I love Jeff Bridges uh,
Tony.
as Obadiah. I
We've
think it's really good.
Christian, you and I have talked about how Jeff Bridges is just amazing, and he
Yeah.
needs to be in everything. This was an interesting character for Jeff Bridges to play. I I don't know. I see Jeff Bridges as the stoner guy, like he plays in his famous movie. Fuck, I can't think of it.
Big Lebowski.
Thank you,
Is that
Big Lebowski, and also kind of like in Tron Legacy. Um, yeah, he's like a big hippie in Tron Legacy. Am I wrong?
No.
yeah, I would call him yeah, some sort of hippie.
Yeah, he's
All he
very
does is
hippie.
he's just Jeff Bridges
Yeah,
Oh,
in
when
the
you
movie.
okay, I see. Okay, when he goes into the grid, like his character in the grid.
Tron Legacy.
Yeah, he's like his metaphor for meditation is like I'm gonna go knock on the stars or whatever.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
he keeps like calling his kid man or whatever. It's
Hey
weird.
man. Either
Yeah,
Hey
either way.
man,
yeah.
I
Um,
do. Here's what I like about Obadiah. I'm wearing the movie with headphones. I'm on my couch behind me, and I could smell the whiskey on him. I can smell like the cigar in his mouth. I'm like, dude, like his performance is like breathy and slow and intimidating. And
yeah,
I'm like, this guy sucks. He's a shitty person.
yeah,
But I want to see him talk more. I don't
yeah.
know.
I completely agree. Jeff Bridges nailed the nailed it. He just nailed it.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave
Oh my
with a
god.
box of scraps.
Ruben, I think you should read Frank's comment
I'm
about
going to
Jeff
read it.
Bridges.
First
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
Frank, thank you for giving us a prime sub. I really appreciate that.
Whoop, whoop.
I have a couple of things. Frank just talked about a couple of things. We were talking about Batman and Superman, and he says here Batman once said about Superman, I didn't have a choice to be who I am. He had every choice, and he became who he is. Which is very confusing because I think he has that flipped over. I think Superman said that.
Also, I realized that I see we have a bunch of people commenting. Ruben, you gotta let us know when the people want to talk to us.
Well, again, I'm was trying to finagle my way in there, but you guys kept on talking, so I didn't want to ruin that banter. Um,
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges, sorry, Frank also says that Jeff Bridges also helped build Marvel in a small way. There were Marvel suits trying to micromanage Robert Downey Jr. and the movie, and Jeff went in and said, you want to do all that and then write a fucking script? What? Jeff went in
Yeah.
and said, "You want to do it?" Yeah. Okay.
So I see
Yeah.
what Frank is saying here with the Batman Superman stuff, because that makes sense. Because like when Bruce's parents were killed, I can't believe we're talking so much about DC stuff here. It's wild. But I think it's important, like with these characters, and that's why I like Tony Stark as a character is really, I think, up there with them. Like Batman in that moment right there, his parents are dead.
Yeah.
His life has changed right there. That
Right.
single moment that defines his life going forward. Whereas Superman has all this infinite possibilities. He literally can come to Earth and be a god, and he chooses to do the right thing.
Okay.
He
Okay.
chooses to be a hero.
I see.
Like he could like be like in Batman or Superman. Like Batman had like the nightmare visions of Superman. Like he could literally take over the world if he wanted to,
Right.
but he doesn't. He has all that power, and like in Man of Steel, that's why I like that one shot Man of Steel when Clark literally lets people handcuff him, and he walks handcuffed. Like that's it right there. He
Like a
could
little
take this
bitch.
whole base. He could take this whole base down without a second thought, but he chooses not to.
He's just a little freaky, is all.
Because he's too
So,
worried
either way.
about that S on his chest standing for hope.
Stands for hope.
It's not an S. It's the Stussy that you would draw in, like, high. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. Oh man. Thank you, Frank, for clarifying this. I really appreciate that. I want to bring up. I don't want to bring this up, but I kind of do have to bring this up. There's an
Okay.
Avengers Endgame theory that I brought up before about Doctor Strange. How he said
Yeah.
there were infinite possibilities. I mean, infinite timelines, but only one real way to defeat Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings the question: was Doctor Strange lying just to get rid of Tony? Because if you think about it, wait, hold on, let me finish. If you think about this, Tony's the real reason why everybody has come and attacked Earth. Tony's the reason for Ultron. Tony is the reason for.
No, he's just the first time we see it.
What do you mean?
There's stuff happening like in the past with Captain Marvel, Eternals. Just because it's just the first time we see it.
Yeah, Loki attacks, because that's a Thor thing right there. Like Tony had nothing to do with Loki attacking New York and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
I think Tony jumpstarts a bunch of stuff where it's like, hey, Earth looks interesting.
Yeah.
Like, so I think Tony is the catalyst for the MCU. Everything, like, there's a bunch of stuff from Tony. If you look at it, like, the Spider-Man villains are related to Tony, not related, you know what I mean? Or Tony's actions, they became villains because of that. Thor, not really. And you have to look also Tony's family, Howard Stark dealt with Captain America. And so and I think that's perfectly shown in like Civil War. It's like, I heard so many stories about you. You thought he would, you were his kid or something. Stuff like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I think we're getting a little far off topic here, Ruben.
Okay.
I think it's time for us to come back down a little bit back to Iron Man. What don't you like about this movie, Ruben?
What don't I like about this movie? Terrence Howard is.
Yeah, that was my comment. Yeah.
I really don't like Terrence Howard in this movie. Like, it's like you said, Christian. They're supposed to be like brothers, and
That was Eric.
Oh, sorry, Eric. It's like you said, they're supposed to be brothers, and I just don't see. Like, I feel like they were college buddies instead of just brothers. Like, he's that one guy you call when you kind of need help getting out of a situation. Not the guy that you hang out with.
He's just not likable.
Yeah.
There's no like real chemistry that like in that movie with them two. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the only line I like at Terrence Howard was like, "How's the fun V? Next time you ride with me." Okay, that was like the only moment where I felt like, oh, these two are really close.
Right.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I also wish that they had saved Jeff Bridges' reveal, I guess, for later at a later movie.
Dude, he reveals that he's the bad guy three times.
Yeah. I think if we had just seen them, like him interact with the head terrorist, that would have been great, and then we just saved it for another movie. While Tony's dealing with probably in future spoilers, I'm sorry, but Iron Man 2, I think that would have been way better. Tony's dealing with a fight on 3 different fronts. He's dealing with the United States government attacking him like, no, you can't do this. He's also dealing with I don't know what the fuck
Bird.
Sure, he's dealing with
You're
that guy.
dealing with Bird.
He's dealing with that guy, and I think if he was also dealing with a hostile takeover of his company and Obadiah just coming out with his own set of armor.
That would have been wild.
It would
Especially
have
with
been wild.
all the stuff that's in that movie.
Yeah.
If they would have added the Jeff Bridges stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Gotcha.
What do you got, Eric?
I think for me, I think it was just like, even though this is a fantastic story that still resonates to this day, the movie just feels dated. That's all. Like when you got, like especially when you get like the Mad Money clips running in it and stuff. I just think some parts of it's a little dated, but like the great thing is like you could just take that story and put it anywhere and it's still great. It's kind of like how I view Seinfeld sometimes. Like Seinfeld, even though it's in the 90s, you can take that show
and
put it
anywhere.
nowadays and it still works.
Yeah.
Like the story of this movie works no matter.
I feel like Jerry would get canceled. Whereas
I don't think so at all. First off, we're not talking Seinfeld on a Marvel Mondays edition.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
But no, I think just there's a little bit about this like that's dated. That's all. Other than that, I think it's strong. I think it's still this and Captain America. I think are still the best two origin movies. If you want to say, like, do we consider Guardians an origin thing?
I would say yeah.
It's hard because the opening scene I think establishes it as an origins, but then it's not afterwards.
You know, yeah.
Because I mean, like,
it is the forming of the team. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
It is a forming of the team.
I would say like this is one of the stronger origin stories. Like this, arguably the strongest, because this movie could have tanked.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those movies where I think the first movie is still just as good as all the rest that came after, which is really hard. Like obviously, I know we were talking about Fast and the Furious earlier, but the first Fast and the Furious movie, not great. Like I don't think it's that great. But like it's one of those where like it started something. Like I think Iron Man is right up there for me with like New Hope as something like this started something and it's still considered one of the best in the saga franchise, whatever you want to call it. So
Frank says Ruben is definitely onto something. Frank, I don't know if you know, but I'm also working on Spider-Man Far From Home. So
you can have all the ideas about No Way Home you want, just don't give me that Uncle Ben thing.
No Way Home. Listen, I'm telling you, that is what's going to happen. And thank God, like I said, I talked to Johnny last night. He said, don't worry, Ruben.
Okay, who's he casting for Johnny then? Who's he cast? If you work with him so much, who's he got for
First
Reed?
Off, did you not see the rumors? They're going forward with Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
No, everyone wants that.
No, like that's a legitimate article that I saw the other day.
I don't know if I want that.
Okay. Although the movie,
anything will be better than Fan 4-Stick. So
yeah,
Fan 4-Stick.
Where was I going with this? Christian, what did you not like about this movie?
We already said it. Yeah, Terrence Howard, and then some of the plot stuff with Jeff Bridges gets a little. Again, like I said, he reveals he's the villain 3 separate times within like a 5-minute span. It's like I get it. He's the bad guy. We all know this.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I was vibing.
I think that also would have been like a perfect mid-credit scene where Pepper finally sees what's on the thumb drive, and she just says, "Oh shit," or something along those lines. You know, like she sees his plans of making his own suit. Instead of had she not seen it, I know. Had she not seen the video on the computer, you know what I'm saying? I think it would have been great.
it's one of those things where it's like, would Obadiah really further Tony's story? Like, as much as we want Jeff Bridges in other movies, would it really
It's
further Tony's story?
see, I don't think
I
that
don't think you
I
would.
don't I don't think that's the case at all. It's not that I want more Jeff Bridges in the MCU. It's that I think he's already dealing with post traumatic stress. Like on top of that, you're gonna put like the person who has been in his life the most also betrays him. Like, come on, that's a bit heavy for a story.
That's why
like
that scene was heavy. It was like, Tony, who do you think locked you out?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I would have rather it be in a sequel, like Iron Man. 2.
also that
I thought it was funny.
paralysis thing that Jeff Obadiah uses, terrifying.
Super terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. I thought that guy was gonna his face is already burnt off. I thought the blood vessels were just gonna pop off his face. Yeah, it's really weird.
Also, you're right. Like the 10 ring stuff, that was interesting. You thought
Completely
that would go
forgot.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it did.
Mhm.
Iron Man
It went
3.
nowhere at the time, and then we get to Iron Man 3, and then that's not really what it is.
I mean, isn't
Stuff
it
like
though?
that. So
The greatest twist of all time. Greatest twist of all time.
is it though?
It is.
I mean,
Honestly,
I could think of a much better MCU twist. So.
no, okay. Well, I agree.
absolutely.
I agree. But out of all the Iron Man movies, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, which is the worst of the film?
2.
Yeah, two while still is a fun time. Like I just rewatched 2 again today. 2 is a fantastic fun time.
You gotta space
My
it
niece
out.
wanted to watch it too. Hey,
Okay,
man.
alright. But
cool.
you leave her in the room. You don't watch
So
it. I'm kidding, Eric. I'm kidding.
Two is it's one of those things where I really like 2. It's super fun, but it's clearly the worst of the 3 for me. So
I agree. It's just
So-
really bad.
Eric put up not a poll. I put up a question in I think the Kind of Funny Facebook group or on Twitter, one of the two, a while ago, a week ago, and he said, "What's the best shot in Iron Man 1?" And I think there's a clear answer here, and which we'll talk about. But I want to bring up one of my favorite shots that I would not have remembered having not seen the film, and it's during the flashback. So before he's even turned into Iron Man, we get the days before when he's still Tony Stark, and he's down in the garage like he always is, and he's working on his hot rod, and Suicidal Tendencies is blasting,
Yeah.
and we get just a great we get just 2 minutes of Tony being Tony and his personality, and when Gwyneth Paltrow comes in, we get a understanding of his charisma, and that to me is one of my favorite scenes in Iron Man 1. So cool.
please don't turn off my music.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
I also do want to point out, they started off the relationship between Pepper and Tony, pretty strong with that rooftop scene, and then they just let it fall flat in Iron Man 2.
Oh,
Am I wrong?
maybe we'll talk about it when we get to that movie, huh?
That's right. We will.
I think as much like I said, as much as I don't like Gwyneth Paltrow, I think her and
She's a
Rob
phenomenal
Decker
Pepper Potts.
have terrific chemistry.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
That's what they have terrific chemistry.
definitely.
Oh, and then also talking about throughout the movie and stuff, you got Coulson. It's
Yeah.
I forget about Coulson, and then I remember the whole thing where the strategic homeland, and it's just because it wasn't clicking in my head the first time I watched it in theaters. I'm like, strategic. I know I've heard, and then he says at the end, just call a shield. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, Shield's in this.
I also do want to point out, they screwed him over. The first scene we see him in, that suit that he's in is way too big for him.
It's too big.
Way too big for him. Come on. Nobody could have seen that.
Dude, the suit's
yeah,
this on him.
exactly. I'm glad I'm not the only person that noticed it.
Also, did you guys know? I'm sure we talked about this, that the Jericho monologue was all improv.
Which was the Jericho monologue?
Is it better to be feared or respected?
Yeah.
And I said, is it better too much to ask for both?
Yeah.
When he, apparently that whole thing was improv.
God, I love Robert Downey Jr.
Which Oh man. Oh, which to your point, Eric, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes when he was like being casted. Like those like back and forths of like the audition tapes are so good when
Yeah.
he's just like riffing. Yeah.
Eric, what's your favorite one shot?
I think I put this in the group. It's when like he sees the Gomera, like all the stuff happening in Gomera, and he's just sitting there and he's just got the screwdriver on the repulsor and
Mhm.
he's just like so pissed off. I think that was a great moment right there for him. Because
Okay.
like he's trying to be better, but like parts of the old life is still coming through.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, I'm tired of this. And like he literally has the power to change it. So
Yeah.
that's why it's just so good.
Interesting.
Just that first suit up sequence, so good.
Yup.
Yeah. So great. So great. My favorite one shot has to be where he sees Pepper's gift and he opens it up and he's just like, well, shit.
A little smile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a sucker for
Also,
that.
shout out to Jon Favreau for the use of practical effects in this movie. Like the suit, for most of the shots, apparently in the suit, it was a lot of practical.
Yeah.
I think they said for this one, I think in Iron Man 2 is when they started doing a bunch of visual effects for it. But this one, really good. Mark III suit looks fantastic. And
Oh,
still in
God.
this movie. Even though we've gotten so many better suits since then,
Yeah.
the Mark III suit still looks great.
Yeah.
I agree. Do we have anything else before we close out the show?
Let me check
Where
my
would you
notes here.
rank this movie, Ruben, in the
Oh
MCU?
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah, we
that's
gotta rank
right.
this.
I completely forgot.
We did forget one thing that we can't leave without.
What's that?
The Stan Lee cameo
Oh my God.
as
Looking
Hugh
great,
Hefner.
Hef. Yep.
Hugh
Yep.
Hefner. Oh man.
I remember watching the thing of the Robert Downey Jr. thing, and it was just he was talking with Stan, and he's like, "This is how I pictured Tony Stark right here. Like, it's like I'm literally looking at Tony Stark, and I'm like, oh man,
I miss
So.
Dan.
I miss you."
Oh God. Where do I rank this? Clearly, we have to rank it number one.
number one.
This is our first one.
Yeah.
This is the first one.
Yeah. Number one.
By the way, I'm making a penultimate conquest MCU ranking list on my letterbox that I'm gonna update as we move forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thank you
Great.
very much.
Are we all in favor of number one?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Ruben, tell us the official ranking so far at penultimate conquest. What we got?
The official ranking of the penultimate conquest's MCU ranking is number one, Iron Man.
Thank you.
Let's see where number two lands. The Incredible Hulk.
This is our second movie, by the way.
Huh?
Is it Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, The Incredible
Yeah.
Hulk.
I gotta go rent that. Apparently,
I know that's the only one we gotta rent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, don't rent it yet. I might be able to finagle something, so I'll let you know.
Oh, you know the guys?
Do you have an in with Lou Ferrigno?
No,
Yeah.
I have an in with Marvel. Marvel can hook me up with this, you know. John
So
Watts.
do we want to rank the villains too?
Sure, why not? Let's just do it.
Because I know that's what that is.
Eric-
What
You got to be in charge of this list.
Yeah.
okay, I'll be in charge of the villains list.
Yeah.
Let me start it right now. Because I know that was one of my favorite things. I know we don't want to like try to copy other people. That is one of my favorite things that the Kind of Funny guys did was rank the villains.
Yeah. Oh,
I
God.
forgot one more thing before Eric Wisey gets his notes ready.
Uh-huh.
What do we got?
The scene that is a callback in Endgame or originates here is the
Cheeseburgers?
cheeseburgers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that one scene where it's just like there's two things I want. I want an American cheeseburger, and the other thing she's like, no, don't like. Actually, it's not what you think.
But also, like, he went to the wrong place. Burger King?
Burger King is good.
Burger King?
One day we'll rank fast food.
One day we will.
That'll be
This
a
show
separate
is just
podcast.
gonna be. This show is just gonna be all of Kind of Funny altogether, and I'm okay
Oh,
with that.
we didn't mention if you want to talk about some news that Loki is going to be on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Mm.
which really screws with our schedule, but we'll.
I mean, we
figure
could
some-
still do Mondays.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of weird. Thank you,
Ow.
Frank. Burger King is good with a. No, it's not good. Christian, stop. It's
Bro,
it's not good. All right,
Slaps.
it's not. All right, it's just
Back
not.
when movie theaters were a thing, I used to buy the like
Five Guys.
nuggets for like what $2 for like 10 nuggets or whatever, and just
Okay.
take it to the theater with me.
A
Five
burger?
Guys is obviously it's better than Burger King.
Yeah.
Five Guys is gross. It's worse than Burger King.
What?
I'm gonna say-
Whoa.
yeah. Fucking wet ass burger,
All right, Christian, I'm
nasty ass
sorry.
fries.
You're at. Say
All
goodbye.
right, so right now, I forgot to say it. For our penultimate conquest villains ranking, number 1, Obadiah Stane.
Yeah. That checks
What a
out.
terrible last name.
Right?
Honestly, I was talking about this last week, Christian. I could have sworn it was Obadiah Stone.
I thought it was Obadiah Stan.
I don't know why I thought it was Obadiah Stone.
Speaking of Obadiah Stane, I'm looking at you, the viewers. There's actually a terrific Iron Man cartoon you should watch called Iron Man Armored Adventures. It's on Disney Plus.
My nephew was
It's
just
what
telling me about that.
Tony Stark was a teenager. It's really good. It's 2 seasons, I think. There's so much Marvel stuff in it. Like I think there's one where Tony goes against Fing Fang Foom, which is incredible, giant dragon. But no, it's really good. I highly recommend it. The animation's kind of weird, but it's still a really good show.
It's like CGI.
Yeah, it's CGI stuff, but I highly recommend it. It's really good.
Yeah.
If you want some Iron Man content.
Frank also says, don't forget his homie Mexican Iron Man named Iron Mang. Frank, well done. Well done.
That was a good one.
That was really good. All right, guys, let's close out the show. Christian, where can people find you?
You can follow me at ISO Christian for all my weird takes about movies, and then my Twitch streams as well. I've been almost close to platinuming Returnal, so I might hop back in there.
Okay.
And then you can keep up with my movie podcast over at Large Popcorn. Spoilers, we actually just had Frank on the show talking about one of apparently Eric's favorite horror movies ever made, Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2 is fantastic.
Mm.
It's like the goofiness and the horror at the same time, which is what makes it so good. Because like Evil Dead 1 is obviously a fantastic horror movie, and then Army of Darkness is just real camp, and like Evil Dead 2 is like that nice little mixture of like both. So
Okay.
Groovy.
Cool. Eric,
yeah.
where can people find you?
You can find me at Eric C. Ginn here on Twitter. On Twitter. When it's literally everything. Like I will literally talk about sports, politics, whatever I feel like talking about at the time. And like I said at the top of the hour, I would also like to give a shout out to my wonderful wife Tessa, who's been really a rock for me these last 2 weeks. It's been really, really stressful. At the top of the show, I said, please take care of yourselves, everybody. And yeah, just yeah. Maybe hug your best friend today too. Maybe. Air
Yeah,
hug. Make sure you
air
get
hug,
vaccinated
man.
first.
Okay.
I get my second dose on Thursday. Really excited.
All right, cool. You could find me at Twitter at That Guy Tuesday, or you could follow the channel's Twitter at Pen Conquest, which is on the screen as you can see. This week's shows. Tomorrow we have our Mortal Kombat review. Wednesday we have Anime Nation. We're gonna do a Demon Slayer Mugen Train review, which is gonna be awesome. And then I believe Thursday is something. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Christian, we'll have to talk about that Warzone stuff.
Oh yeah, yes,
Later on.
yes, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. You have a lovely night. See you.
Excelsior.
Yeah.